Hi there, this is Sandy Reese with StampinCrew.com. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. I want to welcome you to our Thursday tutorial. This is a redo. I was having some technical difficulties with my Wi-Fi this morning, so the video was blurry. So we're going to try this again. Hopefully it will be okay. Before we get started, we did a drawing for the winner of our cards from last week. We did 7 cards using scraps. They turned out really cute. I know this is looking backwards, but I was just gonna, whoop, shine bright. Get one of these, one of those, that one, I love that one. And these, and these are all just made with scraps that are in my scrap box. And Tammy Broadway was our winner, so congratulations, Tammy. I will get those out to you, or if you're in town, let me know. So today, I wanted to show you a new technique. I'm gonna flip you upside down here. Bring this a little bit closer so you get. Okay, that looks pretty good. I was gonna show you a couple of the samples. So this is the first one. All right, so of course the sun came out right as I was doing my video. Let me see if I can get a little bit of the glare off. There we go. That's a little bit better. Okay, so this is not a new technique, but it's one I haven't done before. So I was just gonna show you how to do this. I call it a pile of stuff. So this one was a pile of shells, and I used Seaside Notions, and this has a couple shells. I thought about the sand dollars too, so I might try that later. But I thought these were nice and big, so they stamped really well on here. And the colors I used were Petal Pink, Calypso Coral, Flirty Flamingo, and I think Terracotta Tile. So the idea of this technique is to use the lighter colors on the top, and then for each layer you go down, you use a darker shade. Once I did this, I found that my light ones were really light, so I added just a little bit of Flirty Flamingo to them, but that makes them look a little more realistic. All right, so and then, I didn't do much decoration. This is a little bit of our crinkled seam binding ribbon, and I colored it with a black blend just to make it a little more visible, and then a simple label. Because the card itself is so pretty, it doesn't need a whole lot of extra embellishment. All right, so this is the second one that I had done, and this one used the larger leaf from the Rooted in Nature stamp set. And so the colors I used on this were soft seafoam, Pear Pizzazz, Old Olive, and Mossy Meadow. So, and then I did one more this morning. I'm going to do this one again. I did the same type of leaves, but I did fall colors. And I used Crushed Curry, Pumpkin Pie, Cajun Craze, and Mary Merlot. And then I used some Crushed Curry marker on the ribbon. So I wanted it to stand out but not be super, to take away from the look of the card. So we're gonna do this one again, and I'm gonna show you how to do this. All right, so what we're gonna start with is some of our great watercolor paper. And you need to use StazOn. You can use the black StazOn, or you can use the Timber Brown, which I actually have on order. I don't have it yet. It's just recently come back into stock, and I hadn't noticed that. So another thing you're gonna need are some Post-it notes. So I have my sticky part up here. So I'm gonna stamp a couple of leaves up here near my sticky part. So I definitely want sticky on my leaves. On here. All right. Then what we're going to do is take about 3 layers. You can do 3 or 4. I have 4 left. Let's just go ahead and do all 4. And we're going to trim these out. It's nice. This is a nice one because you can trim out 4 layers at once. I'm cutting off that outside black rim. You know, when you're doing a mask, you always want to cut the mask a little bit smaller than the image so you can see that black rim is there. This is going to keep you from having a gap between your stamped images. In theory, even though it's pretty thin paper, if you were to stamp and cut this out a little bigger right on the line, there would be a gap between your images. So we're going to just cut that a little smaller so we can avoid that nonsense. All right, looks pretty good. All right, so what we're going to do next is start stamping our layers. So the first layer is our top layer. So nothing's on top of it. You're going to stamp some off, or not stamp off, but stamp them off the edge of your paper. We'll do one here, one there, maybe one kind of coming off down there. All right, so that's our first layer. Maybe I'll do just a little bit coming over here. All right, so the next step is to use our mask and to start masking off some of our top layer of leaves. Let's just put this here, and you'll notice there's a little bit of black showing, and that's what you want. You want some of that black right there. We'll kind of work on this side first. Okay. Flip that, and then we'll use this one over here. All right, we'll just stamp over here, and then we can, well, I have a couple extras. I did 8. We'll just go ahead and mask this off. Why not? You don't want to have more than one layer of masking going on, though, because then it'll be thicker. All right, I'm going to do one right there, and do one here, maybe over here. These are just random. There's no particular order. Do one there, maybe one across. All right. Now, what we're going to do is leave those masks where they are, and then I'm just going to do the left side. So we'll leave that one, and we'll bring this over and mask off these ones we just did. We'll bring this over. This takes a little bit of time, which is why I have not done this in class, because it does take a little time. So this is an excellent project to do at home and just experiment with colors and different images. So you can see there's a little bit of a gap there. That's okay, we'll worry about that later. Okay, I'm gonna put that there. All right, I have most of my left side, so we're doing our third layer of leaves. I want to have a little bit of room for a fourth layer, so I'm just I don't want to cover too much, so I'm going to cover these right here and get that fourth layer stamped while I'm on this side. Just cover that up. We just don't want any of these to overlap each other as far as images go. All right, I'm going to cover that. I'm going to do one right here, and we'll just go there. Okay, cover this up. So it's really just moving and masking the area that around where you're going to stamp your image. Okay, let's get this area masked off. And we'll stamp this one. Looking for my sticky parts. I'll just move that right there. Okay. Just going to cover that up, then we'll do that little spot right there. If you have a couple of little gaps in between, it's okay, because we're going to paint everything. I've got to cover up this one. Right there. Okay. Almost there. That one, and then we'll do one more below that. Okay, and then we've got a little teeny bit, or we've got a little small part. Let's go ahead and cover that while we're at it. Stamp that little piece. Okay, hopefully we've got everything pretty well stamped. As someone said this morning, even just black and white is kind of cool without adding any color. You could just do a black and white card. All right, so we did have one little area where it didn't stamp real well, but we're not going to worry about that. Okay, so now we're going to color. I'm using our water painters. They come in 3. I have one. This is the wide one for big washes, and then there's one more, which I'm not sure where it is, so I'll have to find it. But these you fill with water, and you just use it like a watercolor brush. But when you open it, it doesn't turn left to open, it turns right. So it's going to be opposite of what you think. So just be aware of that when you go to use it. All right, so we're going to start with our lightest color first, which is crushed curry. So we're going to paint, not using too much water. We're going to paint all of our top leaves crushed curry. So I'm just kind of going around the edge of the leaf. I'll fill it in, and I might come back in a minute and just do a little extra shading. So everything that's not being covered up, it looks like a full leaf, we're just going to do in crushed curry. I kind of like using these in the inks because it's quicker than the markers, I feel like. It's a little quicker to add shading. But it only works well with the watercolor paper and shimmery white cardstock. Now, if you go out of the lines, it's okay, because we're gonna paint that with another color next. And I'm not using a whole lot of water here. Just enough to blend it. I'll do this one. I think that's everything that doesn't look like it's covered. So these are almost dry. I'm just going to add a little extra color on these to have a little detail. Blend those in so they're very vibrant and fall looking. Let's go to this one. And let's go there. All right. So I'm just gonna wipe off my brush, push a little water through there. And our next darker color is going to be pumpkin pie. Take this, and if you have one of the newer ink pads and it won't squish, you can just put a a drop of ink refill in the lid, or you can put it on a block or a plate or something like that. All right, we're gonna get a little paint here, and we're gonna look at all of the leaves that look like they're only being covered by the top layer. It goes a little bit darker. So we're doing pumpkin pie on this one right here. All right, I think this is where it gets a little tricky, trying to find which leaves go with which color. Okay. Watercolor paper is very forgiving, so it can be pretty easy to color with this. This is another one. This is the one that happened to not go quite right, but we'll add some extra color, a little extra shading on that in a second. All right, let's see. I'm going to say this one. Okay. Looked like it was going to rain a few minutes ago, and now the sun is shining brightly. Isn't it crazy? Okay. This one, maybe this one over here. Okay. I want to say this, but I think I got some ink on there. But, you know, I think I'm just going to go for it and make this one orange too. I need some orange in this corner of the card. Okay, and I might do this one. Okay, I think that looks pretty good for our second layer. So I'm going to take a little extra pumpkin pie, and I'm just going to do a little shading where it's like being overlapped by the leaf on top of it. Let's get a little more ink on that lid. Get a little extra squeeze. See if we can get a little darker. That's better. I may have had too much in the layering system here. Alright, this kind of helps with giving a little bit of depth to our colors. Okay, let's go with the next color down. It's Cajun Craze. I think this had a bunch of ink in it from before, so we're just gonna go with this. So now we're looking at anything that's covered by yellow or pumpkin, crushed curry or pumpkin. We're gonna do this layer, Cajun Craze. I love fall colors. Do this one in the corner. Maybe this leaf right here. And I know we have some great watercolorists out there. I am not a watercolorist by any means. If there's a few little white spots, that's okay too. Let's see, we'll get this little spot right here. We'll save this one for the next layer. This looks like one here. We've got to get enough ink on that Cajun Craze because it's not too far off from pumpkin pie as far as shading goes. I'm just going to go ahead and do that one. And we've got this one right here. Maybe we'll do this one. Sometimes it doesn't really Can't really tell, so you just gotta add some color where you see it. And this one. I'm not gonna have a whole lot of the Merlot, but that's okay. We'll fill that in, and I think we've got one leaf right here. Let's do that one. Okay, so now we're going to add just a little bit of shading on here where we're being overlapped. Right, other colors or leaves. Okay. Kind of quiet time. It's hard to concentrate. You gotta concentrate without talking too much here. All right, I think we're good on this one. And then last but not least, we're gonna use the Merry Merlot. All right, I always keep the little rag in my craft room to wipe that on. Let's make sure we have some water going. All right, so we're just gonna fill in all of our blank spots with the Merry Merlot so we can do our bottom layer of leaves. And then if you happen to have a little white spot that doesn't have a leaf, you can paint this Merlot in there. If you wanted to use a brown, a soft suede, or something like that, you could do that for even a lower layer of leaves. I'm just gonna fill it in with the Merlot. A little bit there. Put that in. This is fun. I would encourage you guys to try doing. Look for stamps that you could make a pile of. It could be a different shape of leaf or a pile of the cookies or something like that. But try it and then post your picture below this video, and let's see on the Facebook group, and let's see what you come up with. I'm excited. I was looking and I didn't have too many current stamps that I could do this with. Although I thought the shells were really nice, and I think if I were to do another one, I would try the sand dollars. I think that would be pretty. All right, so that is it. I will post all the supplies and colors I used and measurements on my blog later today. All right, so we are going to layer this on a layer of crushed curry. Oh my goodness, I can't talk. I don't like that little spot right there, but that I didn't color, but we're gonna put a tag there, so it's gonna be okay. We are not even gonna see it. Although I do see a little bit of pumpkin pie that I missed, so hold on a sec, let's get that colored. Let's color that pumpkin pie. Sometimes it's hard to see white on white. I'm going to color my crushed curry and then I'll be in trouble. Be careful. Okay, fill in those two spots. All right, so I am going to use a little bit of this crinkled seam binding ribbon coming all apart on me. I'll just cut that. I'm going to color it with my crushed curry marker. This is a great ribbon. You don't want to color yards of this with the marker, but if you're just using, you know, a few inches or maybe, you know, 12 inches or so, this is a really good way to have any color ribbon that you need. And then we're going to stamp. I'm going to use some Cajun Craze to stamp our sentiment. I was just using words from the Seaside Notion stamp set. So we're going to do happy birthday on this one. I'm going to do this in crushed curry. Or no, oh, Cajun Craze. Got two C colors. Can't remember them. And I'm going to cut this with the, I think this is called the Timeless Label Punch. Make sure that looks pretty straight. I'm lining up the word happy. That looks fairly straight and centered. And then I'm going to use this other punch. This is called Label Me Fancy, which is similar in shape, but it's a little bit shorter. I needed a longer one for my word, but I want to use this little circle punch. And this is so you can run your ribbon through your tab, through your little label. So I always like to draw the little circle so I know I'm getting it right where I want it. So I'm going to find this circle, if you can see, in there. And we'll punch that out. This other side's wider. It's for, you know, you can cut a slot for a wider ribbon. This is a nice thin, narrow ribbon, so I'm just using the holes. All right, we're going to stick it through. I'm just using my pencil. You can use whatever you have, piercer, your pick tool, scissors, whatever you have. Just pop that through. All right, we're gonna pop this up and get some pieces of dimensional. I always like to use every bit of my dimensional sheet, so I'm now on the outside rim of this one. I save all the good ones for class, and then I use all the outsides when I'm doing my own crafting. So I'm going to pop this up right over that spot I don't like. Nice. You can't even tell I messed up. Okay. I'm just going to tape this. Everybody should have some Scotch tape in their stamping kit. Tape this around the back. All right. And we're going to adhere this to I have a crushed curry card base somewhere over here. Let's fold this. I'll add a white piece later to the inside. So this would be great for a fall birthday. Isn't this pretty? Like a masculine birthday? Oh, I set it down. That was a mistake. Okay. It'll be all right. We got it up. All right. All done. Not super quick, but a lot of fun. If you find that some of your lines are kind of harsh, like right here, you can go back in with just some plain water, clear water, and soften up those lines a little bit. It looks like my pumpkin was a little harsh here. You can just take some water, soften up those lines since it's watercolor paper. And it is very forgiving. And it will just dry. All right. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed that. Make sure to subscribe to my blog so you can get posts when projects are done and loaded with instructions and supply lists. So thanks so much for stopping by today, and I will see you next week. All right, bye-bye. Dismiss button.